Hey friends, welcome back. We're still playing with the 026 Ultimate Firewood Saw. It's turning into the ultimate sits on the shelf and never gets used saw, but we'll keep trying. Today's video, let's test some of your guys' theories. I had a lot of correspondence from you guys on what you guys thought. How's the spark? Is the fuel line collapsing? What's the pop-off pressure on the carburetor? Let's test all of those things today. This video will be shot in bits and pieces. I kind of have it ripped apart here, but I'm going to throw the saw back together and let's test a few things on it and we'll see, can we get this thing running. Got my jacket on. It's a little cool out. We got another forest fire around and it's very smoky tonight. A lot of you guys said, thank you for not over editing your videos because we like the reality. Well, friends, 4 years, 5 years into my YouTubing, I still just do this for fun. I'm not into, look at me, look at my saws. I built the fastest saw. My way's the only way. I still don't do that, friends. I know that's a large part of the saw community and, the one-upsmanship and the drama, but I'm still not into that. What keeps me here is you guys. The good folks that are here, the folks that are just always here and, positive. Okay, full choke. Does this thing start? We'll pull it over 6 or 7 times and see if it even fires today. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Fuel line is dry because I just had it off, so let's pull over 10 times. I think I got the recoil sorted out. Okay, doesn't even fire. So, I don't know what's going on with this thing. I'm going to bring you guys in just a hair closer. And I'm going to sit here and putter with this thing as I'm yakking with you guys. Okay, a bunch of you guys said maybe it's a coil. Well, let's have a look at the spark plug and the spark and just... I don't think it's a coil, but hey, I've been wrong before. We may have to tear this down and make some block off plates and see. Okay, friends, number one thing here. It's a brand new plug. Look at this, friends. Turn your light on. Plug's starting to turn tan, but it's more on the gray side. Looks a little lean, but notice, friends, 10 pulls. That plug is bone dry. So, I tend to think we're not getting fuel, and then when we do get fuel, it's erratic fuel. But, just for fun, I'm just going to pull this over. I see spark. And it's bright spark. It looks good. It's on the bluish side. So, we're not going to suspect the coil just yet. Do Stihl coils fail completely, or do they kind of run amok? I don't know. It was a good day today. Buddy Caleb there in Texas. Remember, we gave that saw away to him. Kind of a gift from the channel. Friend to friend. Gave that 460 to him, and he sent me a video today of him dropping a pretty good sized tree with that saw, and he's loving it. He's loving it. He's a good man, and he's got a great sense of humor, which I love. The guy makes me laugh, but he can be very serious, and once in a while he'll send me a message just thanking me for the saw. That's what this is all about. This is nothing for me, friends, but, if you can't build saws, it's a big deal. Okay, so first things first, plug's completely dry. I have half a tank of fuel. Let's pull this fuel line off, which should squirt with fuel. Now, I notice there's a little bit of fuel in this fuel line, but yet we don't seem to be getting fuel into the saw. Let's make sure the jets are on. I'm doing everything just off the cuff, friends. Is the low jet on? half, 1. So it's at about 1. You think it should fire or do something at 1. Okay, so already we're not getting fuel from here to here, which makes me think I have a carb problem. Okay, friends, remember, I don't know, a couple months ago, I said Ryan at Wolf Creek sent me this Tacoma. It's a, what does it say on here? What do they actually call this thing? ProVac carburetor tool, okay? You can get these at Wolf Creek Saw Shop. I think they're in the tools section. When you go to his website, friends, go to the bottom and it lists all the saws, and it'll have like meteor parts, and it'll say tools are uncategorized. That's where you find this. Ryan sent me one just off the cuff, and it's a pressure gauge for carburetors. So it says close valve 2, blow air inside carburetor when pressure reaches 0.5 kilograms per cubic meter squared. Keep checking the pressure gauge. If pressure gauge goes down, it means there's a leak inside the carburetor. At the end of the operation, open valve 2 and let air out. Same test is applicable on crankcases. Okay, friends. So I had a nipple here. What did I do with the nipple? If I didn't have so much junk. Okay, first thing, let's check this fuel line. I'll try and bring you guys in closer. I'm sure some of you haven't seen this. And again, sorry for the dirty bench, but it is what it is, friends. It is what it is. My benches are always messy. Part of it is time. I'm just that feller who's busy. And 1 minute I'll be working on my truck. The next minute I'm working on skid steer. Next minute I'm working on my mower. Friends, I've been looking at mowers at the auction. I think I might upgrade to a bigger, faster, angrier mower. And I know the F3060 is a big, crazy, fast mower. Well, maybe I can get a crazier, faster one. What I would actually like, friends, Toro makes it's a 5-foot front deck with 2 5-foot side wings that go like this. And you can mow 15 glorious feet at a time. I would really like one of those. Okay, so here's what this is. Okay, let's blow some pressure in this thing, and it seems to be going down. Now, all we're doing here, friends, is we're putting pressure in the crankcase, okay? And the fact I'm blowing air through this line, I don't think it's kinked. Is it kinking when it's hooked up to the carburetor? Well, let's stick our finger and push this thing down and see. It doesn't seem to be restricting me blowing air into it. Okay? Now, on the other end, I'll put this line up for you guys. Undo this. Here, let's see if you guys can see this as I'm doing it. I need 3 hands. Does it pull fuel out when I do this? How did I do that earlier, friends? There you go. Look. See how it's pulling fuel out on the way it's pushing it in, and then it's sucking it out. So we have fuel going through the line. I don't think that's the issue. Okay, even when I push this down, look, I'm freely getting fuel back and forth. Now, I don't want to fill this thing with fuel, so I'm going to close the valve and push all that fuel back through, okay? You guys can see it's full. Now push it back through, and it goes into the line easily, no matter if I kink the line. So again, I don't think it's that. I was thinking maybe it's my rigged up line. Oh, yeah, friends, we really just, here. There we go. I like these. You can just pull the vent off. Okay. So there's that. I knew I was going to get some fuel on myself. Okay, so it's not the fuel line. We're pretty sure that. These things, friends, these saws can be really difficult. If you work in a small engine shop and you have every tool and you've been doing it for 25 years, you're probably laughing at me right now. But I'm just a guy in my shop, right? Just like most of you guys. Friends, I'm really fired up. We're making final plans for Bunyan. Paul Bunyan show, Lore City. Be there or be square. Really hope as many of you guys can come this year. We got some fun stuff planned. And again, Buckin and I will be there if you guys want to meet us. I'm excited to see Buckin. I haven't seen him in exactly a year. We didn't cross paths this summer. I'd like to make a trip. I'd like to do a motorcycle trip across the country and ride to his front door. Maybe next year we'll do that, but it just didn't happen this year because, well, I have a baby and busy man. So if you guys want to hang out, Lore City, Paul Bunyan in Ohio, October, I think it's 3rd, 4th, and 5th. It's the first weekend in October, friends. Hope to see as many of you as possible, and hope to see some of you again that I met last year. I met some just good people, and you guys comment on my videos, and I think about you, you know. Wonder how you're doing, and just what I did to, you know. I don't know, I feel blessed to the people who are on this channel. Okay, friends, well, I'm flopping here. So I'm putting pressure, okay? I'm putting it right into the fuel inlet. And look, see how it's pumping up? Now at some point, I believe the needle should open. I'm at 10 pounds here, okay? I have absolutely spiked the gauge. So I can't blow air into the carburetor. Okay. Now, they call this pop-off pressure, and I was looking online, and this thing should pop somewhere between 10 and 12 pounds. Maybe even less. So, what I think's happening, friends, the reason why this thing won't start is my needle and seat won't open. And because they won't open, I'm not getting any fuel into the carb. These are Cat's Meow. This thing works great. I've had zero problems with it. And again, if you guys want one of these, Ryan at Wolf Creek sent this to the channel for us to try. And I have used it before, friends, but I thought, let's do it on this one. Okay, so let's let the pressure off. We're unable to blow into the carburetor, right? So there's definitely something going on with this carb, and I'll just yak with you guys while I'm doing this. Somebody said there's a way to take this carb off without taking the handle apart, so I can't remember what they said though, because, well, I read so many comments, friends, that sometimes it's in one ear and out the other. I hate to say it, but anybody that does YouTubing maybe understands is you correspond with so many people. Now, I seem to be good at it. I remember people and what we act about. Part of my job, I have to deal with people all day, every day now. But, okay, I think somebody was saying if I hold the trigger open. Okay, I think somebody said if I do this, I can pull it off. I don't know. Well, let's just see if we can get this out. No, that's not happening. So, somebody said if I pull this doohickey here, and push it over, and then push this. Well, that's not working. So we'll just do it the way I have been. Good old Stihls, eh, friends? I was laughing at the comments. You guys are like, yeah, I don't like those linkages. I like, friends, here's the thing. I love running Stihls. Here, I'm doing this right now. Hold it up for the camera. I like running Stihls. Stihls make a strong saw. In fact, friends, my ported Stihls are stronger than my ported Huskies. True story. It's something I noticed years ago. I poured a Stihl and they're like, wow, I have to do a little more work to a Husky to get as many gains. What I notice, okay? But here's the thing. I don't enjoy working on the Stihls as much just because they're difficult. They have proprietary parts. Etc., etc. Oh, somebody mentioned the Impulse line. This is a brand new Impulse line. What do I do with that nipple, friends? It's a brand new impulse line. It seals good. I really don't think it's that, and I'm not even going to check it, but you could put the nipple in there, and if we want to make block-off plates for this, we could also do that, block the exhaust and intake, and we could pressurize the crankcase. Okay, so let's move this out of the way. So, let's make sure nothing's going on with our impulse circuit. Okay, that seems to be doing its thing. Okay, so here's our fuel line here. Sorry, friends, right here. Now, look. It just, there, I'll put the gauge down. It just pumps up to infinity. Okay. I don't think it's supposed to do that. So, what I'm going to do here, remember when I said that needle is questionable and I didn't have one? I'm still waiting for those parts kits. I didn't order those from Wolf Creek. I probably should have. I know I yak about Wolf Creek a lot, but that guy means the world to me. One day, friends, I wanted to go on a pilgrimage, and I will go to Colorado. Pretty sure he's in Colorado, and I will shake his hand. And if I do that, my mission will be complete. Those who take good care of me. There are other parts companies, friends, that have reached out, and they would love for me to use their parts, but I can't do it. This fuel is an odd color to me, and I think it's coming out of the fuel tank. Okay, so what I'm getting at is this is not opening, is what I think is going on. So, let's put this back on here, okay? You guys can see that. So, what's the issue? I think the issue is either the carburetor bore is worn or the needle and seat is no good. What do I have for parts here? Maybe I could scab parts off of another Stihl carb and put another needle and seat in, friends. What do you guys think of that? This is a Zama, so that's probably not. And what's this? This is also a Zama, so we don't want those because I don't like Zamas. I'm not a big Zama fan. I've had horrible experiences with Zamas, mainly. See, friends, this should open at some point, if I remember correctly. And it's just not. So, and it has the spring under it. It's opening and closing. But for whatever reason, it just will not. It just will not open. So, let's see what we can do to fix that. First thing I'll do, I may pause you guys here because I think I might go parts diving. Yes, I use a scrunch for everything. If I can take the whole saw apart with a scrunch, I will. The proper screwdriver is, what do I do with that, friends? Okay, I'm going to pause it here. I'm going to dig around and see if I can find a better needle and seat. Give me a second. Okay, friends, I'm back. I did a bunch of reading, and it seems that these modern Walboros have a higher pop-off pressure than what I was expecting. So, because tank vents can, the tank pressure can get fairly high. I found a new needle and seat and new parts. I changed the spring with a shorter one, trying to make it pop off sooner. That was probably not the right idea. So let's do this again. Oh, and friends, remember I was saying I have a ton of these carb kits? Well, I found them. I have a ton of them. Like, an absolute ton of them. So let's dig around in this one. These are old. I bought these years and years and years ago. Let's just horse around. Let's put a new spring in this carb. Somebody was saying impulse line, maybe. I don't know. I'm starting to second guess my second guessing. I I think we could try something though before we end this. I'd like to have this saw running by the night. And if I can't get it running in a half decent amount of time, or okay, so we got the new pieces here. Bing, bang, boom. You guys have seen me do this. Here's how I do it. It's really hard on these small carbs. Take this, put it all together as one piece. Of course, leaving the screw loose so that you can push this all down here. See if we can do this quickly. This is really, wow, these small carbs are not fun. I think I'm just spoiled. I work on all these big, awesome saws now. And it makes these little ones kind of harder to work on for me. Okay, one more time. You guys get the idea. Sorry, you guys can't even see what I'm doing there. Okay, I leave the screw out as far as I can without it falling out. I put the spring in there. I take this. I'm almost wondering if I'm not getting impulse. The impulse line's not clogged, but maybe I should just rig up a quick impulse line, throw this thing back together. Before I do that, I want to change parts in this car because I have a couple of old Huskies with old Walboros, and the needle and seat actually sticks in them. My 266 is like that. When I first go to fire it up, if it's been sitting for a while, sometimes it won't fire right away, and it's because it doesn't get fuel until I really pull on it. Okay, I'm going to pull my Walboro carburetor tool out. If you don't have one of these, get one. Look, it says WT. Okay, this one's old. My buddy gave this to me. Let's put your light on. I'll put that auto focus back on. There you go. See that? It's just touching. It could probably be just a hair higher. So we'll do that right now. Bend it up. Take this. Okay. It's just touching. That's how this carb tool, and I've used this on other brands and it actually works. So if you don't have one, order one. Just Google chainsaw carburetor tool and you'll find them. You'll find original Walboro ones like this one, and you'll also find aftermarket ones. Pick whatever one suits your budget. I use both aftermarket and OEM parts on this channel, and again, I like the OEM parts, but they're out of the budget in my region. Up here in Canada, parts are really expensive, and it makes building old saws like this cost prohibitive. I mean, if you just got to do an old saw and you really, want that saw rebuilt, I get it. But I mean, if you're trying to cobble together saws, old saws, and you just want a bunch of saws, it can really price it out of the market. Move all this stuff out of the way. One more screw here. I feel like this screw is not for this carburetor, but I took it out of here, so it's got to be. Right, friends? Give me a second here. What did I do here? I did something. Okay. Sorry, friends. It was right under my nose. I just couldn't see it. Okay, so that's how you check your pop-off pressure. I can't find the specs for a WT carb online. I have the factory service manual for this carb, and it doesn't say anything about proper pop-off pressure, but that's definitely a thing. I've never showed that on the channel. Okay, just for fun, let's take this side off again, make sure everything looks good. Maybe I'll change to this gasket kit I have laying on the counter, and then I'll throw the carb on off camera, because you guys have seen that now 367 times. We got fuel in here. Let's just go in, rip this gasket out. Again, thank you to everybody that hangs out on the channel. Your support helps me do this kind of stuff. Okay, so that one there. And let's try one of these this time. You guys have seen I use both. I've been asked a million times, the black ones or the fiber ones. The fiber ones, as far as I've ever known, are for ethanol fuel, and let's face it, I think most fuel has some ethanol in it now, at least it does in my country. I don't really understand that, friends, because to make ethanol, we have to grow a bunch of corn, and to grow a bunch of corn, we got to use fuel, and I just, yeah, anyways, that's my Tin Man's thought of the day. Okay, so you guys can see, right now, we do have an issue. Look, it's not building any pop-off pressure. So what I will do is, I was hoping that would happen. I'll take these screws off. I'll just pause you guys. Okay, and now look, I took the cover off, and now look, I bet you it'll hold pressure now. Oh, no. Interesting. Now this thing seems to not want to hold pressure of any kind. So what did we do here? Push that down. Okay, let's hold this up and just see. It appears that this needle is not sealing. Okay, I'm gonna rip it. Again, friends, when you have this thing, when you put it back together, make sure it's holding pressure. Now, it's not. The question is, why? Okay? Well, I'm going to have to take this thing back apart again. And I will pause you guys because this video is getting long. That wasn't the idea today. Let's see if we can fix it. Okay, friends, put it all back together. Oh, I actually blew the line off. We got it holding pop-off pressure now. I changed all the parts. I set it back up. Okay. So again, this is a super handy tool to have. And good for testing carbs. Okay, what I'm going to do, I'm going to throw the carb back on and we'll see if this thing starts now. Okay, well, I cut the video, friends. You guys saw I threw the carb back on. I could not get this saw to start again. And so what I did was I doused the air filter with some fuel. And now this saw starts again. Check it out. Or it doesn't, friends. Okay, so I'm still not sure what's going on. Now, friends, I had this saw running with the camera off, and it started beautifully once I put fuel in here, and then it ran great for about 20 seconds, and then it started to be all over the place. Low jet acted lean, meaning it was slow to come back down to idle. No matter how much I tune, this thing tends to wander on the idle. So again, I'm not 100% sure what's going on. I tend to be thinking that either I have a small air leak or my carburetor's no good. So, basically, friends, this saw loses prime and it won't prime itself again. Like I said, I had it running without, I never had it running on its own steam. I had to prime it. Once I primed it with fuel, it starts and runs fine. But as I run it longer and it gets hot, it starts to wander, and the low jet, it goes from really rich to really lean on the low jet. The high jet's fine on this saw, friends. It's 4-stroking beautifully. High jet's at like 1 and a bit. So I tend to think that maybe I just got a bad carb, but unfortunately, friends, I don't have another carb to throw on here. So, a new carb for this up here, I could buy a whole running saw for what a carb would cost. So I'm going to have to poke around. But one thing we could still do, friends, I'm going to leave it here for a day or two and see if this thing starts. I don't think it's going to. And then I guess we can pull the handle off and we can make some block off plates. And we can use the same tool that I used on the carb to check for a crankcase leak. Okay, we can put pressure and vac to it and see what it's going to do. So maybe we'll do that on the next video. We know this thing has spark, and we know it does run, but it doesn't run well. So like I said, I'm hedging my bets that I either have a small crankcase leak or I have a problem with my carburetor. The other thing we can do, friends, is take the Welsh plugs out and see if there's any crud in those passages. At this point, if I think the carb's no good, I'm not doing any damage. Anyhow, friends, I'm going to leave the video there. Sorry we didn't get it going again today. Thank you to everybody that's been here with this saw. I'll just keep playing with it, and if it's good, it's good. If it's not, I'll just throw it in the parts bin, and maybe we'll just buy another 026 or 260 and build another saw. In the meantime, friends, I got lots of projects coming. We will continue working on this, though. I won't just put it away and go, I don't know. There is a reason why the saw doesn't run. I just got to figure out what it is. And hopefully you guys learned something from my mistakes or my struggles. Anyhow, friends, thanks for watching. Take it easy. I'll see you guys in a couple days. Later.